All right, y'all. Straight to the point. Let's get right to it. Y'all hit that like. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. And sub to the channel too. Looking at. All right, man. Hope everybody feeling all right. Kind of having a morning like always. That tends to happen. All right. So we know that the Mavericks right now are currently in the process of shopping for one Anthony Davis. Um, and as I stated earlier, Anthony Davis, his tenure with the Mavs, man, has not been a good one. Uh, Anthony Davis has had a growing reputation for being hurt, staying hurt, and not able to play a full season. Okay, now he started off with the season before last. He actually played uh, a little over 60 something games. I can't think right off the top of my head, but he was able to be in the running for several different awards, including defensive player of the year award. Uh, but I remember at the beginning of last season, he actually started off pretty good, and then the unfortunate thing that took place, um, AD ended up not only getting traded, but then he ended up getting hurt. Now, AD, I think AD, a combination of AD as well as Luca, they were both blindsided by the situation. Now, Anthony Davis, he might have thought that this was a breath of fresh air, but it certainly wasn't a breath of fresh air for the fans and the Dallas Mavericks fan base because nobody wanted this to go down like this. And the thing about it is, this this trade was demoralizing for the Dallas Mavs organization. You traded away a five-time All NBA talent in Luca, and we know that Anthony Davis is an All NBA talent, of course. But as I stated earlier, he has to be healthy, and we're tired of saying that. I'm tired of saying that. I got to be real, man. At this point, AD should be looking at retirement. I've said this. I've said this on countless occasions. I've said this about Kawhi. I've said this about Joel Embiid. I've said this. I was even about to say it about Zion because it's like, what are you doing in the off season, man? Like, I know some injuries. I can understand some injuries you can't control. Like, and I'm talking about when you're in the midst of playing and stuff like that. But it's always something. It's always something with Anthony Davis, and I don't think teams want to take on the headache. I don't think teams want to take on the liability because first off, you gotta look at the contract. Okay, uh, you gotta look at the contract. We gotta see if it makes business sense. I'm talking about the organization. Now, it's a risk reward type of thing because, like I said, if you take on a guy who only played 14 out of the 46 games that he's been with the Mavs, then that's the risk that you're taking because nobody's gonna want to pick this up, and I don't know likely where he will end up. I just don't know who's gonna want to take on it. Like, okay, it's easy. Send him send him to Washington or send him to Charlotte or send him to one of these bad teams or something like that. But what if those bad teams don't want to take on that type of liability and and stunt their growth by having a guy on there who's hurt and you just taking up space because at this point, like when a hurt player like AD is there or Joel Embiid or Paul George or guys like that who consistently stay hurt, all you're doing is taking up space, man. That's the only thing that you're doing. You're not benefiting the team in any way. You're not benefiting the team in any way. What's up, Stephen Green? You said salute. That's why Nico got fired from the Mavs. Bad. No, well, no. Hold on. Listen, Stephen. Okay, with Nico Harrison, uh, he didn't he didn't make all of his decision making wasn't bad. Okay, I got to defend Nico Harrison to a degree. Now, did he make some? I think the thing that was really messed up for the organization is when he didn't have it. He didn't keep Jalen Brunson. And please hit the like when you come in here. Please share the video, man. Please get it out there. Share the video. We want to help us out. Get it out there, man. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I'm trying to get it out there. They're not trying. They're not sending my stuff out. If y'all don't want it to be sent out, hey, then just don't share it, don't like it, don't comment, don't do anything. But come on, man, it's free. It don't cost anything, and all you gotta do is just share it to get it out. We're trying to get the community to grow, man. But like I was saying, man, Patrick Dumont is is the one behind all of this. He doesn't want to come out and admit it that he made a wrong decision. He was the one that was pushing more so for Luca to be gone. He was the one that got into it with Luca a few weeks before he was traded. Nico Harrison, okay. Now, Two Raw had did some investigating, and shout out to Two Raw for TV about him firing the trainer and stuff. And that right there, yes, that was a harsh decision because that was a trainer that used to work with Dirk Nowitzki. Um, you said, look what Luca doing in LA. Yeah, he's winning. He's actually winning. Jelly Bean, what's up with you, man? I'll see you in a minute. Salute to you. Listen, man. They listen. They traded, like I said, an All NBA talent, okay, who shows the ability to turn things around. Okay, you may not like the way that Luca plays. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. I had a problem with Luca when he first came into the league. Not the way we know that he can ball, he can shoot, all this other stuff. But I was just like, man, guess what? Turn right back around. and be right back on the court. You know, you didn't like the fact that Luka was coming in out of shape. Nobody liked that, but James Harden did the same thing. But one thing for certain, two things for sure, Luka was going to show up, and Luka was clutch, and he showed the to carry his team just like he's doing with LA right now. So I agree with you 100%, Stephen, when you say that he's in LA winning without LeBron, and the ratings are going up too. Like people are excited about basketball right now. Like you got you got the brother Too Raw for TV. You could hear the excitement in his voice. You got Ticket TV. You could hear the excitement in their voice, man. You could hear like that. Listen, we are tired. The brother 78. These guys are happy. Myself, I don't like talking about one damn person all the time, but that's a whole nother subject. We're talking about AD right now. We're sticking to AD. Now, AD when healthy, he's a monster. You know what I'm saying? He's what people want to see, and what we're seeing in Victor Wembanyama, who just the other night had 30, 38, 14, and 5 blocks. You said how you feel about LeBron going to the G League. I don't care about none of that, man. Listen, man, Steven, we're trying to move on from him. That's what we're trying to do. That's what the league is. I could care. I could care less if he go to the G League, if he plays in the adult league. Like I just want him to go. That's what I want, so that we could talk about other players. We done got so addicted to talking about him that we can't focus our conversation on other things. Like for instance, everybody's focused on him being in the G League. I'm not. We should be focused on Luka winning. That should be the I don't hell. Go to the G League. That's not gonna listen. The only thing that I wish LeBron would do, since we're talking about it, since you wanna engage in this conversation about LeBron, listen, Stephen. LeBron does not know how much of a weapon he could be. It's just like what the brother Turah was saying in one of his videos, and I had said this before. If LeBron was to not only come off the bench but move without the ball and just be like a transitional player, moving without the ball, being a lob threat through the back door, being a cut and screen type of guy, being somebody that can catch the ball in the post, triple threat, just doing that, you would be so much more beneficial. Instead of you handling the ball, you want to be Sammy Davis Jr. doing playing all 5 positions, trying to do this, trying to do that. And if you focus more on your defense, like you just being a defender, which is really what ideally from LeBron's body type, he has a small forward body type, 6'8", between 6'6" and 6'9". That's a small forward body type. If you just were to focus on defense, okay, do what Michael Cooper did. Do what even Klay Thompson in his prime did. At one time, Paul George, who was playing the small forward and two-way player. If you were to do that, and I say Klay Thompson moving without the ball, he doesn't shoot well, of course, like Klay once did. But if you were to just do that, you don't understand how much more powerful you'll be. Now you have a guy in Luka that can handle the rock. I don't even want Luka to handle the rock. I would like them to get another point guard. You said the only way you're going to get rid of LeBron is LeBron retire. Now, that's not true. That's not true. They have a new owner. They're under new ownership, Stephen. Okay, is Jenny Buss still in there? In the mix in a way? Yeah, but no, we're talking about the Dodgers owner. We're talking about a guy that's about championships. That's why the Dodgers won, man. That's why the Dodgers are my squad. Y'all sitting up here choosing the Toronto Blue Jays. No, you're talking about Magic Johnson being in the building. You're talking about a winner, not a circus show. They want that shit gone. The Lakers are not a laughing stock. I'm not a Lakers fan. Okay, I'm not a Lakers fan, but I appreciate the culture just as much as I appreciate the Philly. You know what I'm saying? We are about winning, man, and to get swept, gentlemen swept, missing the playoffs, not playing in the finals. The LA fans, they don't like that. They don't like to see AD on the floor always hurt, always something happening. They're used to, okay, you sprain your ankle. Okay, get the fuck right back out there. Tape. We're gonna play hurt a little bit unless you absolutely can't walk, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar used to do. Hey, I'm bothered by a bad ankle. I'm still gonna play on that bitch if I can walk on that bitch, like Kobe Bryant used to do. But instead, you have a disgruntled guy making up stuff about his body. Talk about sciatica. How can sciatica be bothering you when I just seen you doing squats? You were doing squats 3 weeks prior to the season or whatever. You can't if you have sciatica and Tura. I know I keep bringing up Tura, but he said a lot of stuff, man. That I've to myself too because I've dealt with lumbar pain in the lower back and stuff. Anywhere in your glutes and your lumbar and stuff like that, that still has to do with your back, man, and your spine, that area. You can't be doing stuff like that if you have sciatica. No, what it is, you're mad that the organization is moving on. You said I watched the game with more fun and seeing other players talk about. Yeah, exactly. Not just talking about one page. Not nobody wants. I don't want to talk about LeBron 24/7. For instance, what more can we say? Okay, it's great that you're in phenomenal shape. Now, what you need to do is you need to show that you are an ambassador of the league. After a while, people like your kids. If you have kids, they get tired of hearing your voice after a while. Now you have to take a step back and you have to let your kids, take the torch when they become a certain age. You understand what I mean? Not always around, always, nah. And listen, this is another thing. Him being 40, that has no problem with me. Like I said, Stephen and Jelly Bean, if you're still up in here, Jelly Bean probably done left. Um, but I don't have a problem with anybody being 40. Hell, it could be 50. Age doesn't mean shit, right? Not in my mental, right? But but if you're gonna be 40 and at this stage of your career you have to transition to what age you're at, you are playing with guys that are young enough to be your son, that are young enough to be your nephews. Hell, some of them can be your grandkids. And you have to understand, okay, I gotta let these guys grow. I gotta be more of a mentor. I gotta be more of a lead by example type of guy. It's great that you're in phenomenal shape, but like I said, you showed the ability as 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 um as your NBA career has went along. You've shown the ability to handle the rock. You've shown some ability to play a little defense every now and then. You know what I'm saying? You've shown the ability to do certain things. Now you've had your time. Now you need to take a step back and do what Kobe did when he was in the Olympics. You said Kareem played in his 40s. Yeah, he did. Oh yeah, I remember Herb Williams. Yeah, yeah. I like Kareem, but see Kareem, he was still winning. That's the thing, Stephen. Kareem was still effective. He was still winning at 38, 39 years old. He was still effective, man. You got to be effective. Kareem knew that Magic. Hey, this is Magic's team. Hey, Worthy is here. Byron Scott is here. With they know who I am. Okay, I can do other things. I can still defend at a high level. I can still rebound at a high level. I can still be a screen setter at a high level. And I can also score at a high level. As long as we're getting championships, there's no problem with that. And see, guys like Tim Duncan, they were able to make the sacrifice. Tim Duncan had injuries too. That's another thing. When we talk about AD, see, there's no excuses in my book. There's no excuses in my book. That's why Ticket, I rock with Ticket, rock with Two Raw, rock with Town, rock with a lot of the, 78. There's no room for fucking excuses, man. There's no room for fucking excuses. Tim Duncan had injuries and was able to come back. And guess what? He was able to transition his game. And also, Tim Duncan was able to make sacrifices too as well for the betterment of the organization and the betterment of the team. He was like, look, I don't need to take all of this money or whatever. I'm more about championships. And guess what? He's capitalized on his legacy. Tim Duncan knew what he could do. He was able to make a sacrifice. He's like, hey, I'll be around if you need me. I can still defend at a high level. I can still score at a high level. I can still rebound at a high level or whatever. But I know that we're going into we're evolving now. We're going into an evolution stage now with the Spurs, and they have a culture built on winning. And guess what? He was able to get 5 championships being successful. People probably look at his stats and be like, "Oh man, well Tim Duncan didn't do this when he was older, and Tim Duncan didn't." As you get older, your role becomes different. But it didn't stop him from making what 15, 15 all defensive teams or all NBA teams somewhere along that lines. It didn't stop him from doing that. So that's what I'm saying. AD doesn't have any excuse, man. You got to get your body right in the off season. In the off season, even if you got to stay away from basketball for a minute and let your body heal. That's what you have to do. I know I played. Okay, did I make the NBA? Absolutely not. I did not make it. You know what I'm saying? Was I fighting to get there? Yeah. But I know more than anybody, man. When you're playing a taxing sport like basketball, 82 plus games. Hell, some of y'all can't walk for 82 seconds. Some of y'all can't run for 82 seconds, much less run 82 games a year. But it's taxing on the body. So for some guys, man, especially if you're, I know people personally. not only in my family, but as well as friends that are well above 6'7". Okay, we're talking about 7 footers. Like being a 7 footer and you have a lot of weight on you, it puts a strain on your lower extremity and on your knees and your ankles and your joints, especially if you're playing a sport like basketball, which requires you to jump. And you can come down on somebody's foot. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of weight on a bone. So you got to heal that. And you're doing that 82 games. It's not easy, man. And I'll put that out there first. But you have knowledge in the off season that a lot of people don't. If if you're doing all of that and you know you're getting hurt all the time, 24/7, all you need to do is just sit down. Just sit down. Yes, you want to come back a better player. You want to come back and show that you're something new. But with AD, he needs to sit down and heal, even if it means like right now, you might be a little rusty coming back and everything if you did this right. If you sat down for like a year, but I would even encourage him just to sit down for a year and don't do nothing because every time you turn around, you are hurt. You're not dependable, man. These Mavs fans are angry in the city of Dallas. They are angry, man. This fan base, this fan base. I mean, they were giving death threats to Nico Harrison, which was unfair to him and his family. Nico Harrison was the poster guy for Patrick Dumont's bullshit, and that's why Stephen. I didn't necessarily agree with what you said in terms of him making all the bad decisions. Now, did he make some decisions that were questionable? Absolutely. But we all know who was behind all of this, and Luca. See, we got to remember we're talking about a Luca that had marched into the front office and wanted to win so bad that um, he ended up getting what's his name, Donnie Nelson Jr., who had been who had been in the front office for decades and got rid of him. Michael Finley has always been there. I really feel like they should bring like either Michael Finley as a GM or hell Dirk. I mean Dirk is an advisor right now. You said they should be angry. The fans wanted Luca to stay with Dallas. Yeah, exactly, man. Now I don't think they should have took it that far as death threats and stuff like that. I don't agree with any of that, man. You know what I'm saying? This man still got a family. He's still a human being. He still works a job. Like anybody else. But that's how a lot of fans were feeling. But I don't agree with that. But that's how mad they were. I was even questioning it when it had happened, and I went live. I couldn't believe it. There were a couple people that didn't believe me that had came on that live, Steven. There were a couple people that didn't believe me because this was like late at night when it happened, like around 10, 11 o'clock at night or whatever. And people were like, "Nah, this is a joke. It can't be because it didn't make sense." Do you think AD can win finals? What it not gonna do that because Steven, they're about to trade AD. They're shopping for AD right now. I was just talking about that earlier, man. I went live earlier. Go check the post and everything, man. They're shopping for AD, so that's out of the question. And no, they wouldn't be able to do that. The reason why they're not going to win with AD, especially, I would say in the next couple of seasons, if he was there. First off, you got to wait on Kyrie. God knows. I mean, they're saying he's gonna be back in January, but I mean, he still got to get right basketball wise. You know what I'm saying? It's different from playing practice and then actual being in the actual NBA game. You still got to get Kyrie right. Then on top of that, you got other players there that tend to stay hurt every now and then, like Lively. He still hasn't been the same. You know what I'm saying? Gafford was hurt a little bit. P.J. Washington, I think he got hurt here and there, but he's having off the court issue. And another thing is a lot of people felt like P.J. Washington, him getting that extension for 5 years or whatever. Yeah, he made the finals and everything, but it's kind of like, well, damn. What about your level of production? What about this stuff that's going on in your personal life? And then, of course, with AD, you can never count on him. You can't count on him. You haven't been able to count on AD since the bubble. You said AD is a fit with the Raptors, Wizards of Portland. He can, if listen, man, look, Stephen, this man got to stay healthy. It doesn't matter where you go. You could go anywhere. Hell, he could go to Houston. He could go to San Antonio. He could go to Denver. If you're not able to play, if you're not able to get on the floor and be 100% healthy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not beneficial to nobody. You're not. You ain't beneficial to nobody at all. Well, shit, he gonna have to come off something. Listen, man, him coming off the bench, Steven, man, that's like that is a reality. We don't even know if he could get quality minutes at this point. Hell, if he listen, hey Steven, if he get like if if he get like 10 minutes, you gotta wonder if he gonna get hurt in them 10 minutes. Like the first game he had in the first half, he was absolutely killing or whatever, and then next thing you know, he hurt. And I'm like, damn, here we go again. Like, is that what you want? Like, would you? Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. A serious question, Steve. Would you want? Would you want AD on the Sixers? Be honest. Would you want AD on the Sixers? And just think about why I'm asking you that. Would you want him with the Philadelphia 76ers? I got my answer. I'm just waiting to see what you're gonna say. Because you got to think about what when you bring AD there. Think about what's going on, and I'm just using the Sixers as an example. Think about what's going on with the Sixers. Next thing is assistant coach or just retired as well. Look, I wouldn't want to bring him to our organization because, for one, you're already dealing with the same situation in Joel Embiid and Paul George, and then of course McCain. But Jared McCain is young. I'm just talking about older players. You're already dealing with the same situation. So why we need to get more damaged goods? Yes, I think that right now he should just go ahead and be a coach. You know, because his body's not holding up, and as you get older, it gets worse, man. It doesn't get better. Charles Barkley, like he said, what did he say to LeBron? He said LeBron can barely stand up. Like that's just like they laughing at all these guys. The presidents falling and stuff like that. I mean, hell, you gotta wonder if AD gonna be able, to stand up when he get older. And I'm not trying to sit here and clown or nothing like that. We're talking about from a quality of life perspective, man. And I'm being serious when I say that, man. Like you want to be able to stand up and play with your grandkids. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to stand up and go places. Like, what if you want to go on a cruise, or what if you want to, go places and stuff like that? Man, you got to walk to some of these places and stuff, man. Just retire AD, no value to. Yeah, exactly, man. And listen, I don't like to say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, you don't want to see nobody just their their career come to a screeching halt. You don't want uh, their career coming to a screeching halt. Hit that. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate that. Like, it's just, man. I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to see AD go through this, but he just couldn't stay healthy. I remember the AD that was coming out of Kentucky, man. That was coming in with the Pelicans, man, and people thought that AD was gonna be the next best player in the NBA, man. This guy was a monster, man. He was an ideal guy that you wanted. He kind of had that Kevin Garnett type of play. Could handle the rock, could post up, could block shots, could run transition, can pull up from deep. You know what I'm saying? Can pass. You know what I'm saying? Could move without the ball. Good screen setter. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that in one. Like the total complete package that you want out of a big man. Could play multiple positions. Could play the center. Could play the power forward. Occasionally the three. You know, like that's the AD that I was used to seeing. Stephen, man, it's kind of like when you with a female, right? And she was she was used to seeing you, working out. You know what I'm saying? You keeping your body in shape. You keeping your looks up to par. You got a job. You know what I'm saying? You paying your bills. You understand what I'm saying? You got your shit together, or whatever. And then just like okay, first year or 2 years, okay, everything going great, and then all of a sudden you come in half stepping. You come up in there slacking. She come in there all hot, horny, ready to get it on or whatever. You can't get it working. Don't keep your hair cut or trimmed or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You ain't groomed properly. You know what I'm saying? You don't dress the same. You don't keep your hygiene up to par. You slacking on the bills. Stuff being taken away. Repossession or eviction notices, whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? You not cleaning up in the house after yourself. You know what I'm saying? She gonna be like, damn, man, I remember when you used to be this way or that way. See, y'all don't want to have that conversation. How come when it comes to real life, y'all don't want to have that type of conversation, man? I be trying to talk about real shit. Y'all run away from conversations like that. But that's how it is with AD, man. He came into the league a certain type of way, and people remembered you that certain type of way or whatever. The Mavericks organization, they were like, okay, we know that this guy's an all-world talent or whatever, man. Hopefully he don't get hurt, and he gets hurt his first game. Yeah, I know you here, Stephen. I'm just talking. I was just saying, some of y'all don't want to have this real conversation, though. Like, this is this channel. This channel is more than just sports, man. We talk about everything, man. About real life. You said best years is in New Orleans. Yeah, I mean, it was from a player standpoint. Now as far as successful, hey, they won the bubble. And look, I'm gonna tell you like this: a lot of people felt like either AD, had it not been for the injury, a lot of people felt like AD or Rajon Rondo could have been the MVPs in when it came to the bubble, not LeBron. But I'm just saying, man. AD's best years are behind him in terms of staying healthy. His body is not the same. He's at the stage of his career, man, where now, man, you need to tread lightly with everything that you're doing, man, because any type of injury, man, could be damaging. Shit, it could be the end of your career, man, pretty much. But like I said, I don't. I'm hoping for the best for AD. A talent like this, man, you sit there, man, and you want to just slap him in the back of his head, like, damn, man, take care of your body. I'm pretty sure people tell him that, like, damn, why you always hurt, man? Like when you're healthy, you like the best player in the NBA. That's what you play like. But then when you know what I'm saying, when you hurt, nobody believes in you. And listen, if I'm a fan, I'm gonna be a fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna praise you when the times are good and the times are bad. But let's just be honest, man. It's been more bad times than it's been good. Dallas can get for, huh? What do you mean, Steve? You said Dallas can get for a center. It just depends, man. And Dallas is gonna have to. They're gonna at this point, man. Being with AD's history, they're gonna they're gonna want more than just AD because he's a liability. They're gonna want either some picks and correct me if I'm wrong, man. If Ticket is listening or Two Raw listening, 78, um, FYF, LVZ. If anybody is listening, man, or even Elder, somebody like that, or Kareem, or even Brandon Love Sports. Correct me if I'm wrong, man. They're gonna want something in return besides AD because of the liability. Uh, you know, just help me out. You know what I'm saying? And they're taking on the contract. We gotta look at the contract. Haven't been able to study his contract and really get what all it entails with his contract or whatever. But you're taking a big risk, man. That's what I was saying about Joel Embiid too. You don't know. Like a lot of teams aren't gonna want to take on that. They're gonna want something or whatever. And then the thing about it too is is that team are they trying to build a culture right now, and they're gonna see AD as just pretty much being in the way. Yeah, the probably yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and go. Hey, this is what I think they should. That's a good point, Stephen. I'm glad you brought that up, man. And you need, man, you should do a video about that too, man. Talking about that too. Um, at this point, go ahead, blow this thing up. Okay, we know. I can almost guarantee you that if they continue losing, which I imagine they probably are, they're probably gonna get rid of Jason Kidd. But I don't think it should happen. I'm also defending Jason Kidd too. I don't like how he's been using Cooper Flag, but a lot of stuff has been unfair to Jason Kidd too, man. The injuries to players, stuff like that. He's kind of doing what what's his name for the 49ers. The 49ers head coach. Um, damn, what's his name? I always forget his name. But you know, the 49ers head coach, he's having all these injuries and stuff like that, and some people were like, oh yeah, we should fire him and all this other stuff. But he's doing only so much what he has to work with or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Jason Kidd's situation is. I mean, he was blindsided by this whole Luca thing. You know what I'm saying? You brought in AD, even though they won a championship together and stuff like that. But this guy can't never stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, you got Kyrie out, one of your best players or whatever, all world talent, of course, Hall of Famer. And then you got Gafford out, and then you got a rookie in Cooper Flag. You're trying to show him the ropes and everything. And this is another thing. Yeah, Shanahan. There you go. My bad, Shanahan. Woo, what's going on with me, Steven? And don't even say, well, man, Polo, you can know. Nah, but I was about to say Schottenheimer, but I know Schottenheimer with Dallas, though. But, um, see, you're bringing in, okay, you got Cooper Flag. You got to show him the ropes and everything. Now, everybody wants to sit up here and bring this up too, Steven. They want to bring up, oh, yeah, well, Giannis did the same thing. Giannis did the same thing. What's up, Brown Sugar? Beautiful. I see you in here. Um, Giannis, Giannis did the same thing with Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd was like, he put Giannis at point guard, and when he put Giannis at point guard, now it was able to, help him with his playmaking, his ball handling, stuff like that. The problem with that is that Cooper Flag ain't no Giannis. Cooper Flag don't get to the rim easy like Giannis. Cooper Flag um isn't like his dribble drive penetration and him being able to absorb contact and finish like that isn't as good as Giannis. Maybe in time it will be, but he's not ferocious like Giannis. He's showing little flashes here and there, but they're just two different types of players. Everything that's coming off the rim, Giannis pretty much is grabbing. He's not the defender that Giannis is. He's not. He's not. He doesn't have the mobility, nor does he have the size. Giannis is like 6'11". He's damn near 7 foot. You know what I'm saying? Now he may have a better shot. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. You don't know. So for us to sit up here and say, okay, yeah, Cooper Flag gonna do what Giannis is gonna do, that's unfair to assume that. You know, but like I said, you should blow this whole thing up. Okay, blow this whole thing up. Um, see what you could get. Um, you know, and then start going ahead and building around Cooper Flag, because at this point the Luka era is over. Now we got to move on, and they got to get younger. They got to get younger and healthier. You're in a lock with PJ Washington for another 4 seasons. You know, you're in a lock for another 4 seasons or whatnot. So that's that's my whole thing about it. Just go ahead and blow the thing up. We had high hopes for Dallas. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, being like Stephen A. Smith said that they were going to win a championship. Kendrick Perkins said that they were going to win a championship, and it hasn't happened. It's not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen for the next few years, man. You know, but see, when um, when they start building around Cooper, and they, Cooper starts to, come into his own, because I got high hopes for Cooper Flag. I feel like a lot of the stuff was unfair to him. Now, you still, as a rookie, you still got to come in there and you still got to show, you know, you still got to have, if you're a number one pick, you still got to show better better upside than that. You know what I'm saying? You got to show better potential than that. You know what I'm saying? But he's going to improve. I have no doubt. That he's going to improve and everything, and he's going to continue to work. But the thing about it is what identity are y'all gonna go with? That's what we have to ask ourselves. And like I said, nobody wants to have these type of conversations. I'm still gonna have it regardless. Nobody wants to talk about this type of stuff, but I have to. I have to bring it to the table. You said blow the Mavs up. Other players want to move on and not stand for a yeah. I mean, like those guys. Listen, Steven, those guys, man. Like when we talk about Lively, Gafford, Quentin Grimes. He's glad we got Quentin Grimes. We stole Quentin Grimes from Dallas. That's a good thing. Um, but Lively, Gafford, and Washington, they went to the finals. Kyrie Irving went to the finals. They were trying to get back there. They were trying to get back there. That very next season, that's why people were like, "Why would you do that?" They were working on getting back to the finals and actually winning. That's like, why would you make an idiotic move like that? And like I said, it's not all on Nico Harrison. He was a scapegoat. You could tell, like, even when he was talking or whatever, something just didn't seem right. And I got to be real, Steven, you were right. You called it. You and a couple of others had said Dallas, and I doubted y'all. I said, no, man, Dallas ain't going nowhere. Next thing you know, they were in the finals, and I don't know what you saw, but I did not see it. But I had to come on here and I had to be like, Steven was right. Stephen Green called it. He said the Mavericks, man. And so these guys were in the mix of trying to get back to the NBA Finals and actually win. So like I said, man, um, we're gonna have to see what happens, man. At this point, it's time for AD to really start looking in the mirror and doing some soul searching and figuring out what he's gonna do, because in the next couple of seasons, he first he's gonna turn around and he's gonna be 35. Then you're gonna be 40. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like, if you're above 30 with your injury history, the likelihood of another team, getting you to be the role that you had, or have the role that you had in what's it called in LA, it's slim to none. So like I said, man, make sure y'all like the video, share it, subscribe, hit them notifications. I appreciate y'all pulling up. Shouts out to the whole entire LDBC, basketball and boxing. Until then, man, I'm gone.